Anna, thanks for being part of this little experiment where I would like to share with people who inspired me. And you're one of the persons that I know that really inspired me with
Thank
your
you.
articles. And there's especially one word that I was inspired by. Normally you read a book, but sometimes you're inspired by one word, and that's a Danish word, foretagsomhed.
That's an amazing word. Yeah.
I've translated it with a proactive mindset
Yeah.
within the world that I'm working in.
Yeah.
But if you should translate it or describe, because that was the topic of your PhD, maybe you could explain to me the background.
It was because I was set on this task of trying to figure out, if you are to teach entrepreneurship and innovation, how do we do it? And then I kind of I wasn't very loyal to the task. I thought, well, instead I want to look at the psychological background of taking people from thought into action and trying to see the psychological background from everybody. What makes a person go from seeing an opportunity to acting on an opportunity? So I wanted to see the psychological components in how to, as a leader, as an educator, to see how do I make people go from thought into action, or being maybe more learned helpless to being more proactive and being more entrepreneurial, or having a more enterprising mindset. It's that was in the field that I wanted to do my PhD. So nowadays it's more a leadership tool that I have created, these 7 strategies to make people go from seeing an opportunity to go from thought into action.
Yes, and right now where people are maybe in shock and don't know how to act, and especially now all the meetings are online.
Yeah.
So how do we help them being more proactive or entrepreneurial in their mindset?
Yeah, it's a good question, because everything that we normally get our encouragement from, having people's feedback and having lots of small success experiences during the day, and the opportunity to talk to someone, to be inspired by our colleagues as a good role model, all these things that are our normal strategies to getting by in a normal day, it's just not there anymore. So my advice for a leader would be that trying to create the same sense of being able to have small success experiences every day, trying to narrow things down so everyone experience small amounts of success experiences. Because what happens in a normal human being, it's not something that we want to be, but we become more and more learned helpless if we don't get success experiences. If we just sit back at home and wait for the crisis to pass, or someone just to allow us to do things, then we just get more and more learned helpless. So a good thing for a leader would be to try to set up tasks that are doable. Try to minimize the amount of, oh God, I can't do anything. So focus on next best step, which is maybe the most relevant and most powerful strategy in my theory. And it's always to really try as a leader to focus on, what do you have control over? Try to make something that is so concrete and so narrow that you can do it. It could be, read this every day, practice this or whatever every day. Make a small video film of what you want to do if you are to do it afterwards. Or so you have doable small step where you actually have control, where you have full control. And if you do that, and if you focus on that, then you will experience small success experiences. And then you have an upwards positive spiral, instead of just going longer, more and more in a negative downward spiral. It's not very healthy for anyone.
And as a team member, if I experience that I feel helpless or out of control, one of your strategies is to reach out to role models. Can you explain that a little bit? And because I'm trying to reach out to my role models at the moment.
You're a very good example. Well, the good thing, or a very positive thing about the coronavirus, is that everyone sits at home and are just so accessible. So you could reach out for someone that you have been maybe reading a book like you do. Talk to people. Call them, write them, ask people of your colleagues that you normally maybe haven't time enough to talk to, and ask them, how do you actually do this? And if you can see someone who's very good at something, ask them, what did you very, very low practical. What did you do, or how do you do it? Not in, and if someone asks you, a good role model is always someone who doesn't, say, oh, this is so easy, just do it. That's very shitty advice. You need to be very concrete and talk about how you did to overcome it and what was difficult about it. So a good role model is someone that you want to learn from, and then ask them, what was the very first step that you did, and how did you overcome what was difficult for you? So many people you can ask right now, because they're all sitting there waiting for your call.
And one thing is online meetings, going online, doing videos. This is, to a lot of people, is out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, it's really out of our comfort zone.
You don't get any feedback. So
Nope.
Here's your advice also to plan for success and take small steps. Is that correct?
Small steps, and then make a small video. Make 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or test with your family or some good friends, and just test it. Just do it, because often we think that, oh, I need to do 1.5 hours of lecture that is perfect. Why not start with 2 minutes with some of your best friends and say, oh, I have to practice, I have to try this on. Would you please just be my audience? And then the funny thing is that our brain is really doesn't, we don't care if it's our family or it's a real stranger. We put our mind up to the same thing. So you just need to practice and practice and practice. So every time you do it, whether it's your kids or your good family, it just calms your nervous system down, so you're more confident and you're more sane to listen at when you do it for real.
Perfect. I think these are excellent advice. They're very concrete, simple, and yet challenging in the beginning. But it's making them easy to overcome by asking friends, role models, somebody that's available to me right now.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. I think that's a good start. So let's just continue the conversation another day. And
let's do that.
All the best. Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye.